everybody, welcome back. This week we're going to have my nursing friends here. Everybody's going to go ahead and introduce themselves. So,
yeah, I'm Melanie.
I'm Charlene.
I'm obviously Kelly.
I'm Anna.
And we all went to nursing school together up here in the Bay Area. And today we're going to answer some questions for you. This is going to be part of a little mini series that I'm doing. It's going to be 3 videos of us answering some questions for you guys. So today we're going to do some NCLEX related questions. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to chat about it, and we're going to answer your guys' questions and see if this can help you guys a little bit. So, NCLEX related questions for you guys. What did you use to study for the NCLEX?
I used Kaplan. Ordinarily it's $500 and that's really steep, but I just went through the whole entire program and did all the practice questions before the NCLEX.
I too used Kaplan. The thing that helped me with Kaplan is that the format of the questions is very similar to the format of the NCLEX. So I was able to just do a lot of questions and make sure I go through all the rationales for the right and wrong answers, and that helped me know where my weaknesses lied as far as what I needed to study on.
And you guys know that I use the Kaplan too. I have a whole video on it as well.
Okay, so I am broke AF, so I did not use Kaplan. Our school used ATI. I know some people use HESI as well. It's just a way to practice for the NCLEX. I took all the practice tests. Don't bother reading your book again. Just take as many practice tests as you can, because reading the rationales really helps for the right and wrong answers. And then just test yourself on what you don't know.
So I also, as a little addendum there, studied what I didn't know with YouTube videos from Registered Nurse RN. So there was times where I was like, oh, I don't really remember hypokalemia, hypocalcemia, all of the different signs and symptoms for each. And so I would go through and watch her videos, and it really gave me kind of a brief but good review of all of that content.
And I can link her videos down below. I'll have it down in the down bar to one of those videos so you guys can check her out too. I just lost my questions. How many hours a day did you guys study, and how many days a week did you study? We can also answer this realistically too. So just,
okay.
I
I wanted to get the NCLEX done really quickly because I had like a job interview. So I only had 3 weeks to prepare, and I probably studied 4 hours a day. And I passed in 75.
So about a month before I took the NCLEX, I began doing the Kaplan course, and that was a 2-week course, 4 nights a week, and that was, I believe it was like 2 hours, and so I would watch those videos, which honestly I don't feel like I learned a lot from, but I did do that, so that counted as 2 weeks of prep. And then for the next 2 weeks I was kind of going through the practice questions and question trainers. The Kaplan question trainers are nice because you can pause it and resume later, and so I was able to take whether it was 75 or 150 questions at a time and be able to kind of build my stamina on the questions and also be able to pace myself in reality to what was going on in my life. So I would say that the week before the exam I spent at least 3 hours a day, probably more like 4, studying the questions and reviewing the rationales. That was the main factor that I feel helped me pass the NCLEX, was reviewing all of the rationales.
And I hate studying, so I definitely did not study as much as they did, and maybe that's why I got 97 questions instead of 75. But I definitely did study a lot. I think I would say I probably did 1,500 questions total between Kaplan and the other resources.
I took like a week after graduation, and then after that week I studied pretty consistently every day for 2 months. Some days 2 hours a day, closer to the NCLEX, probably 4 hours a day. I went away to the library where it was quiet because I cannot study with noise, and you just put your headphones in, do your practice questions. And I did actually spend a $10 like NCLEX mastery for the practice NCLEX, because that way you really focus on new questions and like giving yourself that time aside to like, oh, this is the real deal here.
How long did it take you guys to get your NCLEX results?
Ugh.
We're in California, by the way, just keep that in mind.
Oh gosh. So I finally got my ATT after a lot of phone calls, and after I took the test it took 18 days to get the results.
So from the time I took my test to the time I got my official results, it was, I want to say 23 days. It was quite a while. It was very anxiety provoking and frustrating, and I went a little crazy, but that's okay. They came, and I did also do the Pearson View trick.
I do for this, but I got my results in 3 days.
Nice. That's awesome.
Which,
yeah, I am.
Which, I mean, I felt bad. I felt really bad for everybody else. Just like, I was always texting with Charlene, and I'm like, Charlene, I'm texting you. I'm like searching your name every like 5 minutes on Breezy.
Yeah, Charlene and I tested the same day, and I got my results like a week later than her, and it took about a month to get my results after taking the test.
I took my test the same time as 2 other classmates. They both got it in 48 hours, and I had to wait the whole 18 days.
Makes no sense at all.
It's frustrating. There's no rhyme or
no,
reason.
none.
The BRN is a lovely establishment that
Loves
is
to
very
hang up on you.
They do hang up on you. They're very backlogged, and honestly, there's no point in calling them.
Mm-hmm.
They say, oh, you can call. I'd say if it's been over a month, call them. Otherwise, they're going to tell you, well, we're just waiting on your transcripts, we're waiting on your file to be processed, we're waiting on whatever it may be. You're not going to get a, yeah, you passed, or no, you didn't. So,
Or they just hang up on you.
Or you don't get through because they say all the lines are busy, or they hang up on you. So, don't waste your time.
If you're in California, if you want to come here from another state, definitely do all your credentialing over there. And then if you're going to come here, apply super early for your transfer license, because that's also taking forever, is what I've seen on Facebook as well.
I hear it can take up to 6 months. So
Yeah, so
do it now.
just be prepared. Maybe get your first year somewhere other than California. Like, stay where you are, because it's also super saturated out here. Best advice for those taking the NCLEX soon?
I got to a point, and you have to know yourself and the way you study, about how if you feel like I can't study anymore, just let it be. You've gone through all this material so many times during nursing school that extra hour, a few days a week is really not going to help that much. Just listen to your body and know what to do, and don't push yourself too much.
So if you are taking the NCLEX in the next week, for example, what I would do is, if you have repeatedly seen a topic that you're like, oh, I don't know that, oh, I don't really know my insulins, or go ahead and spend the 10 or 15 minutes it takes to look up a YouTube video on it, or breeze through a chapter and find the little grid with all of the basic info that you need. But do not try to sit there and cram a bunch of new information that you think that you need to know into your head. The key thing is, hopefully you have already been preparing yourself by practicing questions, and that is the main part. Is you need to know the question format, you need to be prepared for that. And so if you have been taking the practice questions and reviewing the rationale, you should be fine. Some people say take the day off before the exam. The day before, just take the day off and relax. For me, I'm a crammer. That's not how I study. So the day before the exam, I probably spent 2 hours, not as long as the other days, but 2 hours just kind of going through anything that I felt wasn't sticking well, or some of the rationales that I hadn't had time to go through yet. And I think that don't stress yourself out. Don't sit there and learn new info. Just know that you know enough to get through nursing school, and you will be able to do fine on the NCLEX.
And my suggestion is going to be kind of, I've talked about this before, is that knowing yourself and knowing how you study. For me, I was able to take the day off before the NCLEX and not study. And I would say if you can do that, if you can like mentally let yourself do that, do it.
Yeah, so they kind of repeated a few things, but I studied up until the day that I took the test. I spent the week before studying things I know I needed reviewing on, such as maternal child and psych, and I think that it actually helped a lot, even though there's not that many questions on the NCLEX about like pediatrics and psych.
That you got,
For
yeah.
you.
For you.
Everyone
for me,
gets
I guess.
a different topic.
But yeah, a couple days before, I just reviewed labs a little more, and then the day of the test, I tried to relax.
I got a massage the day before. It was great.
Okay, so that's it. That's all the questions I have for the NCLEX for this video. Next is going to be clinical related, and that will be maybe in a couple weeks. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.